And we're back. I'm Billy Ochin. Thank you for joining us here on Bsnbc, your place for opinions and some news, too. We're tracking our top stories for you, the police shootings in Alltown, as well as the recent poll, which puts Trump above Clinton by plus or minus 2 points. All that plus the latest in police violence on the streets of New York City. But first, we have our exclusive interview with Oklahoma Congressman Peter J. White. It's always a pleasure to be with you and your viewers, Billy. Congressman White, thank you for joining us. We know you have limited time, and we appreciate it very much. Congressman, I'd like to get your reactions to the recent police shootings that have happened, seeing as you have personally experienced one of these tragedies in your home state. This is the 417th police shooting of an unarmed African American this month. Well, first of all, I want you to know that my party stands with all those families who have lost suspects, or more importantly, those police officers who are fighting the war in these streets every day. But Congressman, let me just jump in here real quick. Many people are saying, and that is the opinions that we are hearing, that some officers should not be so quick to use their guns, that they should rely on less lethal sources of bringing down those bad guys. Look, Billy, the inner city violence in these ghettos are what causes the suburban people to go out and get guns. They need to protect themselves. And often the worst states have these cities which are in the worst states of violence, and the cities can become the worst states, and often we have to be very, very careful with these suburban cities. Suburban Tulsa can be very dangerous. We've all heard about those issues. Now, Congressman, there are some new polls out by Zogby, New York Times, ABC, Quinnipiac that say that 96% of African Americans feel unsafe around police officers, with a margin of error that is only, and I would say only, plus or minus 4%. Well, that margin of error possibly could have an issue because, with polls this large, factual inaccuracies tend to become fluid, and accuracy overall can be diminished. You must have access to a more recent opinion poll than I have right here. No, and let me be crystal clear here. I do not, as a general rule, believe in polls. Facts could change. We can definitely all agree on that. And it is our hope with more education in this country. Education? Well, the Obama administration has given out free community college and K through 12 education to felons and future felons. These bad dudes cannot have sanctuary in their places of worship even. And we are tough on crime, and we have a 3 strikes law, and then you're out. Now, Congressman, we have heard from the Black Lives Matter protesters today that no one understands what happens when, and I'm going to quote here, that we are prosecuted and summarily executed without the benefits that white Americans experience, namely presumption of innocence when interacting with police officers. Even complying with commands will not prevent us from being murdered. Congressman, your thoughts? I would tell anyone interacting with our beloved peace professionals to comply with all commands. And even if you cannot hear or understand them, if they are telling you something, you must do it. That is not a reason not to do it. Not hearing them is not an excuse. You should not even have to know you should just know what they are asking, and you should just do it automatically. And Congressman, one final question. I know that you are big fans of Brangelina, you and your wife, and what do you think that the government's role should be in Brad Pitt's and Angelina Jolie's divorce? Oh yes, Darlene and I just feel for those kids. It is so sad, and I personally believe that as U.S. Americans and such as Thailand, etc., socialism bad and crimes, our great President George W. Bush, community organizing, African Americans, step 1, you put your hands up. Drugs, and that's that simple. And then you can go on to whatever it is you're doing. Pneumonia, I must go. Okay, thank you, bye-bye. Well, that was Oklahoma Congressman Peter J. White. On to our top story, how those Samsung Galaxy 7 fires in your pants can be put out by the pumpkin frappuccinos you buy every day. We'll be back with that and some news as well after the break. This is Bsnbc, your place for opinions and some news. Obama is going to take our guns. Deport them all. Your drive-through, your panty raid, monkeys fly out of my butt, and Second Amendment.
Gerbils are not sex toys.
Congressman, tear down that wall.